Hi, everyone. It's me, Elna, from twinsmommy.com. All right, so I'm going to share with you 3 clever repurposing content to help you save loads of time and to help you boost your traffic. All right, because I know for a lot of mom blogs and bloggers need help with creating content. And usually during this time of the year, everyone's focusing on traveling and family because of holidays and stuff. But there's a great way that you can start creating a lot of content during this time of the year. All right. And I know for sure that it'll help you grow your traffic. So if you're here, please say hi. I want to get all my mom bloggers in this awesome Facebook Live. Share your questions about repurposing. I'm going to share with you what repurposing really is, some ways to do it, effective ways, and the benefits of doing this. So I'm super excited. I love writing. I have several blogs, so I don't have the time to sit and write 1,000 words for each of my 4 or 5 blogs. So I have ways that I use to repurpose content and ensure that it will get seen by the right people and that it will help hopefully grow my blog traffic. All right, everyone. I'm just going to get my notes. I have a little slide deck that I'm going to share with you that I just created. So I'm kind of proud of that. All right. So here it is. 3 clever ways to repurpose content so you can save time or hours and hours of your time. So I was able to write over 13,000 words, which equal to about 4 or 5 new blog posts in about half or even more than half the time it took me if I were to write it from scratch. All right. So this allowed me to, enjoy field trips with my twins, play with them more, devote more time to meal planning and doing other important things for my family. And I want that for you guys. So I have my handy, trendy coffee here. My trusty coffee. 1 o'clock is usually around my time where I have my coffee break. So I thought for today I might as well blend the two and do this Facebook Live while I sip on my coffee. All right. So if you're new to repurposing, what is repurposing? So repurposing is actually recycled content, okay? But it's recycled content that you created. So you're taking one type of content that you used for a specific purpose, and then you're flipping that around and recycling that to use somewhere else. And it's usually in another format or medium. So that could be video format, or that could be in a different type of content medium like an email. So the purpose or result may also differ from the original content that you repurposed. So if you repurposed a Facebook Live, you might flip that around into a way to drive new customers through a podcast. Okay, so it has a different purpose. Whereas your Facebook Live might have just been for brand building. All right. Now, the biggest thing to remember is that your followers aren't following you on every social media platform. Okay. So I know for a fact that not all my email subscribers liked my Facebook page, and not all my email subscribers are in my Mom to Mompreneur Facebook group. I also know that people that are in my Facebook group aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel. And others aren't even, maybe they haven't liked my Twitter profile or signed up to my email list. I mean, I know for a fact that that's not true because my social media followers are different for each platform as well as my email subscriber list. Right. So you need to remember that if you think you might be afraid to share the content that you're thinking, well, geez, I think everyone already saw this. I can't republish it again. That's not true. Like, it really is not true. Oh, hey, Dee. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Oh, I'm glad you point out that It's your own original content. Yes. Not lifted from anywhere else. People and even businesses do that, do that frequently. Yes. It has to be, for this to work, for this strategy to work, it has to be your original content. I do not that's bad blogging practice if you steal or lift other people's content, for sure. So, and you're right. There are businesses that do that, but for your own purposes as a mom blogger, or as a small business, if your blog is a business and you're selling products, you really want to use your own original content. And I'm going to show you in this live different ways you can use old pieces of content and start creating new content around that. Okay. So for example, you can choose one single topic. So an example I put here is sleep tactics for your toddler. So that's your topic, and you can discuss it on every platform. So, and in doing it in different ways. And you can invite your audience to chime in and cover that one single subject all week long. So that might mean in your mind, you're going to do a Facebook Live on sleep tactics on your Facebook page. Then you're going to go and share that video on YouTube. And then you're going to do maybe a story, an Instagram story on that. So you're going to share that same topic on different platforms with new audience each time. And you're going to connect with newer and newer followers, basically. So that's the strategy of repurposing content. All right, so let's look at 3 clever ways you can start doing this. I recently started doing this. You may not have these pieces of content, but you can adapt for sure. So one of the things that I started recently doing is using old freebies that I took down, that I no longer use or I no longer promote because they aren't aligned with my blog or my products. So for example, I had some freebies about, I had a freebie about, what was it? Oh, a side hustle, about opening up your side hustle. Now my blog right now, I'm trying to focus on traffic building, right? I'm not focusing on starting your own side hustle business, but I had a freebie in the beginning of when I started Twins Mommy, and I closed that up and I left it there I left it on my Google Docs sheet for, I don't know, probably for the past year or year and a half. And when I wanted to start repurposing content, I thought, well, let me look at my old freebies and turn that into a blog post. And that's what I did. So this blog post right here, this one, is a freebie that I offered on my Twins Mommy blog years ago. All right. Now I adapted it because that freebie was old. It had old examples that were not relevant. So with your repurposed content, when you start recycling old content, update the images, update the links, and update the examples that you give because they may not be relatable or relevant. All right. So I just copied the freebie onto my blog here, but I added new things. So I may have blown up this list here. I may have done a little bit more. I know I added this cold pitch here. And I added more examples here as well. So that's what I do to repurpose content. I don't do word for word. I try to add and infuse some new ideas and maybe blow out because maybe the freebie was only 800 words. Well, I want to have, a 2,000 word blog post. I'm going to add a little bit more, but that totally saves me time. So, and it'll save you time when you do that. So that's one easy way to use that old content, those old freebies that no longer are converting, just make them into a blog post. I did that for this one, and I even did that for the one next to it. So right here, the name of the freebie was not this name. So I changed the title and I slanted this freebie a little bit different so that it aligned with my audience. Okay. So again, when I first started Twins Mommy, I had a different audience avatar and a different sort of niche topic. And then early on, I pivoted to a new audience with new topics. So I did create a lot of freebies during that time. And so I thought this would be a good time to, I have no time to write this content. It's holiday season. So I started repurposing this content and I created this blog post. All right. So that's one easy way. Another another easy way is to use old course lessons you took down. Now, this again may not be applicable to you, but maybe you had a free e-course and it wasn't converting. You weren't getting a lot of signups. Take it down, retire it for, a month or two or longer, whatever you decide, move on to something else, and then revisit that and use that as a blog post. And that's exactly what I did. I had an old challenge, I think it was over a year ago, a traffic challenge that just for some reason didn't take off. It didn't get a lot of engagement. And so I turned that into this ultimate guide of how to accelerate your blog traffic strategy for your new blog. Because that's exactly what this challenge was. It was a daily challenge to help you grow your traffic. And I gave you a strategy in that challenge. So instead, I turned it into this ultimate guide that's probably 3,000 words that will help me grow my blog traffic. So I was able to use that old content, even though it wasn't growing my email list, to now create it as a lesson. And then for a while, I was writing lessons for a course that I thought I would probably create and sell, but in the end, I changed my monetization strategy. I had a lot of good lessons there. They were short, less than probably 500 words. But what I did is I looked at the lessons that I had there and I started repurposing that on my blog. And one of them actually started ranking in Google. Sorry, I'm like flipping around here. So this one right here, I had a lesson in an old course that I was, like I said, that I had, but I'm not going to publish it or sell it or anything. I just turned that into a blog post. Now, I wrote this probably in November. I updated it recently after I found out that it was ranking in Google. So again, this was not even like a month before it started ranking in Google. So this quickly became ranked in Google. Right here, if you type in blog naming ideas, I'm here. I'm also on page 1. If my little snippet doesn't show up here, I'm on page 1 at the bottom here. So, which is kind of neat. I mean, I'm competing with like big blogs here of like name generators, and this is my client, Blogging Wizard. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm finding that that's when I learned that the repurposed content was actually helping me in different ways. I latched onto that and I started creating more and more and repurposing more and more. All right. So that might happen if you have an old lesson and something old that you just haven't used or shared much. Repurpose that, add some new things to it, optimize it for keywords, and see if it can start ranking in Google. All right. Now the third way, I have a bonus after this too, is to use old emails as a springboard to longer posts. All right, so go through your content. If you have shorter blog posts, like sometimes, I think on my blog, I might have an 800-word blog post, but I'm going to go through the ones that I know that I didn't put a lot of time in, that I just wanted to, publish it quickly and just, move on. Get those shorter blog posts and use the old emails that you have. If you talked about stories, about little tips here and there, and add that to your blog post. Now, they don't have to be those exclusive tips, but they could be little snippets of things that you mentioned in your email. All right. So I personally haven't done this. I've done it the other way, where I've used snippets of blog posts to make a new email out of. I've done that, but I haven't done it the other way. But I think that would be an easy way to go back and forth if you wanted to. Oops. Sorry. I switched over by accident. Okay. And then a bonus way you can do is you can take one piece of content and then you can turn that into 6 pieces of new content. So this is like the ideal method for repurposing content, is when you can flip it and change it. So for example, I can take this Facebook Live and upload it to YouTube, which I usually do. I do that step. And I could transcribe that into a blog post. And then I can use snippets from that blog post in an email. And then I can create several pins and graphics for Pinterest and Instagram. And then I can share tips from this from the post that I created in a guest post or podcast. So there are different ways you can use that. So for example, my last Facebook Live that I did was about building blog traffic without social media. So while this is not really a repurposed content, what I ended up doing was I put the video in and then I just wrote the blog post. I didn't listen to my video and transcribe it. I just wrote it. But if I was to hire a VA, maybe that's something that they would do for me. They would transcribe all my Facebook Lives into a coherent piece of writing as a blog post, right? But I'm more than happy to do that. I have the time to write the blog post out. Since I had slides in this video, I just sort of adapted those slides and made paragraphs out of them. Okay. So this took a little bit longer, that type of repurposing, but I still do that. All right. Okay. And the benefits, like what are the benefits to repurposing? Like why would you want to repurpose? I mean, the biggest thing is a time saver, right? What I do every month is I try to find ways to create more content quicker. I mean, I really don't have the time. And I do that by repurposing old emails, older blog posts, Facebook Lives, old freebies or course lessons that no longer exist. I use all those different ways of content that I have, and I bundle them up, I move them around, and then I create new content out of that. Repurposing content can help grow your brand, right? So just imagine being on all these different platforms that I just mentioned. You can be on YouTube, you can be on Facebook, you can be on Pinterest and Instagram. You can be on another blog with a podcast or a guest post. These are all different ways to grow your brand, and you can do that fast with repurposed content. And then, of course, finally, it can help grow your blog traffic. So when you're writing a blog post, you want to think of ways to repurpose that as you're writing that blog post. So if, for example, you're doing a roundup in a blog post, well, why not take those roundups and convert that into an ebook and offer that? Or you can take one part of a post and use it for a guest blog, all right? Or you can even extend that story in your email and link to that in your post, right? And then flip it into a Facebook Live. So those are the mediums that I sort of play around with: YouTube, Facebook, and email when I'm thinking about blog content. So that's it in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, let me know about. I know I went kind of fast on that. Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. But yeah, I found that this is my number one tactic for writing more and for growing my traffic. I do this because my two main blogs are Twins Mommy and Elle McCain. I am the writer on those blogs, so I have to create content as much as I can. And this is pretty much the only way that I can consistently create content at this time, is by repurposing content. So I wanted to share those tactics with you. If you guys have any questions about repurposing, let me know. Ooh, got a little blurry there. And I hope you guys are going to have a good Christmas and good holiday. Share your plans with me. Let me know what's going on over there. I know for me, I'm super excited for Christmas. It's like here soon, 13 days apparently. So I'm looking forward to that and spending time with my family. And I want that for you guys. So, repurpose that content, get it out there, and then you can walk away from your computer and spend time with your family and know that that content is working for you and on all different platforms. All right, everyone. If you have any questions and you're catching the replay, just add them to the discussion and I'll be sure to answer them. All right. Take care, everyone.